Hey everybody, my name is Cole Biedenharn, and in this video I'm going to show you how and what I use my iPad for during my live shows. I've been playing solo for about 5 years now, and I've used an iPad ever since I started. Using an iPad on stage can be a very polarizing topic. Some people love it and think it's a great tool to use, while other people think it makes bad musicians and it's a big distraction for people on stage. I can see both sides of this argument, but for me, I think it's a great tool on stage as long as you use it right. The main thing I use an iPad for on stage is for lyrics, chords, and to make a set list. Long before iPads and smartphones were around, people still did this just on paper and used a music stand. I think iPads are much more convenient than lugging around a binder and a music stand for this reason. The people who say you shouldn't use an iPad or a music stand say that you should memorize your music, which is true. You should memorize your music if it's songs you play all the time. However, using an iPad or lyrics in front of you allows you to play a lot more songs that you wouldn't normally play, and it allows you to take requests of songs that you haven't tried to play before and don't have the music in front of you yet. Some people think that using an iPad is unprofessional. However, even the biggest artists today have a monitor showing them their lyrics and helping them through the songs. When you're playing live, you have to worry about much more than just the songs you're playing. You have to worry about the audience and putting on a show. It's very easy to get distracted while doing all this. It's very important to have a reference. That way, if you get lost or distracted, you can pick right back up and no one notices a thing. So this is the iPad that I use for live music. It's an older model, but it works perfectly fine for what I need it for. I only use about 3 main apps on most occasions. So my main app that I use is OnSong. It's great for chords and lyrics. I also use Spotify for playing background music between sets during my breaks. And then I also use my Mixer app, which is an Allen and Heath right now. So OnSong is the main app that I use for my chords and my lyrics, and it helps me plan out my whole set list. So here's a set list I played last show. It's got all my songs, and with OnSong you can say how long the song is. So with this set, it started at 6, and then each song I add, it will tell me what time during the set that'll be played. So this keeps me on track with time, making sure I'm going to hit all the songs that I want to play in a night. I can rearrange songs, add songs, or skip songs. It's really great. You can transpose on here. If you want to change a key for the night, you just go over here, and then you can hit transpose. You just got to remember to change it back, because it'll stay where you changed it, and that can be confusing sometimes. But there's a lot of other features in OnSong that I don't use. You can control lights. You can sync up with other iPads if you're in a band. One iPad can control the whole band. A lot of people use this for worship music in churches. You can also auto scroll or use a foot pedal, which I do, to scroll. I'll show you that in a second. So here's a basic idea of the rig that I use with my iPad. So I got my iPad here on a stand. I got the Hercules stand. I like it a lot. Got my Axe Effects with the pedal control. So on my Axe Effects, I have this Bluetooth to MIDI adapter. It's a Yamaha. I'll link this specific model in the description. But it's plugged into the MIDI in and out of the Axe Effects. And then over here on the iPad, we can connect to the MIDI adapter here. Axe Effects right here. There we go. Now we're connected to the Axe Effects with Bluetooth to MIDI. So then I have my Axe Effects programmed here on these pedals right here. Can't read it, but this one scroll down, this one scroll up. This one here is my next song. If I hold it, it'll go to my last song. And there's many other things you can program to this, but there I just hit last song. Now we're on a different song. I'll show you. If I hit scroll down, it's that easy. And in OnSong, you can adjust how far you want things to scroll. If that's too much of a scroll or not enough, you can adjust all those things in there. So once I get to the bottom of the song, I can hit next song. Boom, there we are. Then, if I accidentally hit next song, which is a big thing that sometimes I don't have this programmed in on other presets, and it messes with me. So if I accidentally hit next song, here, I can hold and go to last song. So there's tons of things you can do. It's super helpful. And that way you're not constantly having to touch your iPad when you're playing, which is a big distraction. And I think that's what makes people think having an iPad can be bad sometimes, when you're constantly touching your iPad and it looks like you're just working on the computer and not putting on a show. You do have to touch your iPad for some things, but the least amount that you can touch your iPad, the better. That's why you want a foot pedal where people don't even know what you're doing. There's plenty of other apps, but this is just the one that I've landed on. I heard a lot of good things when I was first looking into it. The thing that I don't really like about it is the price. It's $60 a year, and the price keeps going up. But for me, it's more of an investment than an expense. This keeps my shows going, and I'm used to how it runs. It's a small price to pay for what it does for me. The other thing I don't like is it can be buggy sometimes. I don't know if that's because my iPad is a little bit older or if it's just the app itself, but it's not too bad. It only crashes every once in a while when I'm making a set list and making a lot of big changes all at the same time. But for the most part, it's pretty stable. So all in all, I recommend OnSong, but do your own research and look into some other apps and see what you like and what works for you. The other apps I use are Spotify, which most people know what that is, and then my mixer app here, which I'm running an Allen & Heath mixer right now, but it connects through Wi-Fi, and I can control all my volumes, and everything in the mixer I can control remotely, which is nice. Depending on what mixer you get, the Behringer XR18 is what I used to use. It's just a box and you have to rely on your iPad, which I wasn't a big fan of because I would have to switch between my mixer app and OnSong, which when you're playing live, you don't want to be fiddling around with your iPad too much. I thought it was always distracting and took away from my set. So now the Allen & Heath has some physical controls that I can use and not rely on this. But this is great for sound check and setting all your levels before you start. The other app I use on occasion is Ultimate Guitar. This also has a subscription, which I've been subscribed to before, but don't like to subscribe to it because I really don't use it that much. But this is just another app that you get all your chords and lyrics from. This one's good because it has a database of songs. OnSong, you have to upload everything yourself. You can't just download stuff that people have made in the past, but Ultimate Guitar has all of that and is probably the best place for it. So if I'm at a show and somebody requests a song that I don't have in OnSong, I can come here if I have internet, which is another thing, and then I can just look it up and have the chords right in front of me. With this, I have to get internet, which this iPad is Wi-Fi only, and the Wi-Fi at some venues can be a little sketchy. Also, I'm connected through the Wi-Fi to my mixer, so I have to unhook from my mixer and then go on the venue's Wi-Fi, which can be a process. So that's why I don't use Ultimate Guitar too much, but it's something to look into. So one of the biggest downsides to using OnSong is they don't have a music library like something like Ultimate Guitar. So the way that I upload songs to OnSong, so I'll take songs here in Ultimate Guitar, I copy all that's here, copy here, see, they want you to buy their subscription, but you can just copy plain text, go over here, which I just use a text app, paste it here, and then I have all this metadata that I put in. Song title, artist, album, year it came out, which I don't normally do that unless I really want to. Then I can put the key, which is nice and OnSong because you can transpose in the app. And then one of the biggest things I need to put here is the duration. Once you have the duration, that helps you with planning out set lists and auto scroll if you use that feature. But then you can save this, bring it over into Google Drive, and then through OnSong you connect to your Google Drive, and then you can bring those straight into OnSong. So it's a little bit of a process, but it's worth it for me for having my set list all in one place, and I know it's always going to be there, online or offline, and it's reliable. So that's what I use my iPad for. The biggest thing is use it as a tool. When you're playing live, you still want to be entertaining, be interacting with the crowd, and not just glued to your iPad reading the chords and the lyrics. It can also be risky using your iPad because any technical issues, software updates, app glitches, app crashes, you can have a battery die or you can even lose your iPad. And if that happens and you don't have a backup or a base level of knowing your songs and being able to play without your iPad, then it could be a disaster. So always have a backup plan. Always keep your iPad charged, have a cord with you, and just know that you can still put on a show if something bad happens. Let me know what you think about using an iPad, and if you do, let me know what apps and hardware that you use. Thanks for watching. My name is Cole Biedenhar, and I'll see you guys in the next video.